Today I'm working on my 98 Chevy Suburban. I had some braking issues and it was pulling severely to the right. So I decided that since I have new calipers and rotors that are less than a year old, that my brake line was probably the culprit. As soon as I popped the wheels off and cracked open the bleeder valve, brake fluid shot out and the caliper released. So I've already replaced the passenger side and that seems to have fixed the problem, but I'm going to take you through the process on the driver's side. Okay, before I get started on the driver's side, I'm going to top up the brake fluid reservoir again using some Prestone .3. While I was under the passenger side, I lost what seemed to me like a lot of brake fluid, but once I came up here and looked at the reservoir, it wasn't that much at all. So I'm going to go ahead and top it up, that way I don't bleed them dry. That'll make bleeding the brakes easier, and then I'll change out the brake line. Now I did go a little bit full over what the max line is, but with undoing the brake line and bleeding the brakes, that will get me back down to where I'm below the maximum, and then I can top off after I'm done. Okay, we'll go over some of the tools that I'm using. I've got 3 wrenches, 10mm for the brake bleed screw, 11mm for the banjo bolt in the back of the caliper, and also the bracket mounting that's for the brake line up on the upper control arm. And then I have 14mm for the brake fitting up back in here. And a pair of needle nose pliers, a flathead screwdriver for the clip that holds the brake line in place, 3/8 inch drive ratchet, and also a 3/8 inch drive 11mm socket. I'm also going to be using my electric impact because I have it. If you don't have it, this can be done with just a ratchet. I always start by cracking open the bleeder screw just to make sure that it is not seized up. There we go. Because these are notorious for seizing up. Okay. Fluid coming out, tighten that back up. And then I take my 11mm, come back here to the back, and loosen up the banjo bolt. Won't get you onto a better position. Be right back. Okay, got my 11mm right here on my banjo bolt, and I like to crack everything loose before I completely take everything apart. There we go. That's loose. Turn it back up. That way we don't lose any more brake fluid than what we have to. And then we'll do the clip and the brake line fitting next. Okay, on the driver's side, it's kind of hard to see up in here, but here is the soft rubber brake line, and then the hard line is back here behind it. So I might have to come down from the top to get to that. I'm just going to crack it loose right now. There we go. Nope. I really don't want to take off this inner fender well. If I can avoid it. Loosen this bracket right here. That's 14. Okay. Try it again. One more time before I go up top. So I finally got this loosened up here. I'm going to take my screwdriver and pop that clip loose. Then use my pliers to pull it out. There we go. Okay, so I've had to resort to channel locks. Get this clip out of there. See if this works. There we go. That is why you buy new clips. So, alright, now we're going to take our 11mm wrench and our 11mm socket. Hold the back side of this bolt back here and zip it off. There's one. There we go. I always like to keep those nuts and bolts together, that way I don't lose them. Because if I don't, I wind up losing one of them. Then you spend an hour looking for it and have to go buy new ones anyway. Alright, let's go get this bottom one off. And drop your wrench in the process. And break the bolt. That you were trying not to lose. Then it comes with this little top plate right here. Other side of the bracket comes off. Don't lose that either. That's loose, and your brake line is loose, and your banjo bolt is already loose. So now just take it off. Okay. After you get the old brake line removed, what do I do with the banjo bolt? No, I always like to take my banjo bolt just to make sure it's not clogged, and then spray some brake cleaner through it. Set that aside. Pull out your part. Now I will put the part numbers in the description and go over them at the end of the video. They're not universal, they are side specific. So if you order both, like I did, and forget the part numbers, just look it up on Rock Auto and they'll tell you which is which. Okay, whenever you put your banjo bolt and your brake line back on your caliper, mine came with the new copper washers. Get those out of the package here. One on each side of the brake line. Always line up your fitting like here, like that. So coming in through this side, then the copper washer. Feed the brake line through. In the right general direction here. And then I go just hand tight on this right now. I get everything back into position before I tighten everything up. I always do this bracket last. Something else I really recommend, since I did just bend my clip all out of whack, got a box of 4 of new clips for like $3. So, figured since I was ordering the parts anyway, might as well add them to it for a couple dollars more. You don't have to try to save your old brake clips. Now on this, there is an indexing mark that goes up in your bracket. Find out where that goes. There it is. Okay, I've got that started in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my clip back in there to hold that brake line in place. Okay, we're back. After changing my vocabulary that would make a sailor blush, I'm going to tighten up the banjo bolt by 11mm. Wrong way. Don't go crazy, but get it snug. Okay. Then I'm going to crack my bleeder valve open here and let gravity bleed out most of the air for me. I can see some air bubbles coming. This way it'll be easier to bleed the brakes once I get my helper in there to push on the pedal. I've already reattached our bracket up here. I'm going to run to the hardware store to get a new bolt to replace the one that I broke. While that's bleeding, I'm going to take some brake cleaner and kind of clean up my area here. Brake fluid, the hard line, and we're trying to spray it on the rubber line. And then all that's left now is to bleed the brakes. So I think we'll end it there.